Welcome everyone. I'm Eleanor, one of the co-directors of the summer school this year, and I'm just going to do some housekeeping announcements first before I introduce you to Martin Hogg, our the head of school here in Galway, who's going to do a formal welcome to the university for you. So, obviously, as you can see, we would ask that everyone wear masks while inside the building, the auditorium and the other classrooms, including the craftivism room throughout the week. Obviously, while eating, you can remove your mask. If you become unwell during a session, you should notify staff or volunteer. We're wearing black lanyards and we'll support you to leave the building. Fire exits, there is one here, the door to the left of the lectern. There's a door to the left of you as you leave on the ground floor. 2 doors at the top of the auditorium at the back. And if you require the use of the lift to evacuate the building in an emergency, you can make your way to the nearest refuge point, following the green and white ceiling height exit signs. There will be volunteers also available to assist. The assembly point is T1, which is directly across from the building. And if you require assistance to exit the building in the event of emergency evacuation for fire or other evacuation, please make sure you have completed a personal evacuation egress plan, PEEP, with a member of our team. You'll notice that our volunteers are all wearing maroon t-shirts and have blue lanyards. This is a bit of a change from what was in the printed programme. And we are there to help you with queries or questions throughout the week. Some of you have asked for assistance during the week, and if you have requested that and you haven't yet met your volunteer, you can go to the registration desk and we'll introduce you. Okay, so then for the moot court later on, the list, the room numbers for in-person are displayed in the foyer. The online registered delegates will receive a link to a separate Zoom meeting for this, and any online delegates requiring sign language or captioning will return to this session link for the moot court prep. Captioning, as you can see, is available in this room and also through Zoom, and there's a link to access the captions in a separate screen which will be posted in the room and on Zoom during the session. So if you want to read the captions in a separate screen online, you can do that. And the link for the captions will be the same every day. And it's noted on the holder slide here behind me and also available from the registration desk. We will be taking photographs throughout the week. If you don't want your photo taken, you can move to a side in the auditorium. And we've also asked you to let us know at registration if you don't want your photos taken at all, and we'll give you an identifier lanyard. If you are taking photos yourself, please do not use a flash. We have a number of accessible bathrooms throughout the building, but ironically, the most accessible bathroom is on the second floor. It has a built-in ceiling hoist. There is a movable hoist available in the ground floor accessible bathroom. So craftivism, which you'll hear a little bit about later, there is also details in your conference pack, and it's running from Monday to Wednesday. On Tuesday, we will have our poster presentation from 4:30 to 6 p.m. And then on Thursday, we have our barbecue in the student bar called Salt here in the University of Galway, running from 5:30, I think, to 8:30, 9, something like that. When you're eating lunch, please eat in the areas provided for you and don't use the main cafe tables. We have separate seating areas for our group. And then what else is there? Yeah, so anyone who's watching online, the link you've received will be the same each day this week. And we are recording each of the live sessions, and the link will be circulated to those recordings as soon as possible after that session for anyone who misses one. But please note that the question and answer session will not be recorded. And this is really to enable people to ask whatever questions they really want to ask without it living forever on the internet. The Zoom login details are clearly labelled in the Welcome to Summer School email, and you will need to log in with the same name and email address used at registration, or you won't be able to access the sessions. Okay, so I think that's everything from housekeeping. I hope I've covered everything. Joe or someone will wave at me if I haven't. So now that I've got that piece of information out of the way, I'm pleased to introduce you to Professor Martin Hogg, who's going to welcome you formally to the university for the week.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Eleanor. I apologise for being unmasked. I wasn't aware of the instructions when I came in, so apologies. It's great to be here at this Disability Summer School once again. This is the world's largest disability summer school, focusing on the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. And this year, our theme is gender and disability justice, a fascinating topic. And we're welcoming 140 delegates and speakers in person and online throughout the week from over 30 countries. I have a list of them here. I'm not going to read them all out, but there's a wonderful array of countries from across the world. So all the delegates from across the world are most welcome. The co-directors of this year's summer school are Eleanor Flynn, Emma Burns, CDLP Research Associate and PhD student, and Amani Issa, CDLP and ICHR PhD student. So thank you to them for all the co-directing activities which they will be involved in this year. In addition to those co-directors, there's a huge backroom team running the coordination of the event, including Joe, Mary, Sharon and Cleena, but I can't list all the team members. Suffice to say, we're grateful to all the centre staff and volunteers who've given their time to contribute towards this wonderful event. Throughout the summer school, we'll be happy and privileged to have the cooperation and involvement of a number of university staff and PhDs who are presenting or chairing panels, and I'd like to say a word of thanks to them as well. We have Aoife Price from CDLP, Anna Arstein-Kerslake from ICHR, Charles O'Mahony from the School of Law, Siobhan Quinlivan from the School of Law, Donica O'Connell from the School of Law, who's also one of the judges of our moot competition alongside Anna, Hege Orefellen from the CDLP, Stacey Scriver from Global Women's Studies, Siobhan Mullally from the ICHR, and Keelan Barry from the ICHR. So a great number of staff who are very happy to contribute to this wonderful conference. Now, some of the university's graduates are also here to present or chair, and my thanks go out to them as well. Eleanor Gikach, Fiona Anderson, and Elizabeth Kamundia, who are graduates of the LLM in International and Comparative Disability in Law, and Jennifer Byrne, who's a PhD graduate of Global Women's Studies, and John Gilmore, a graduate of the BSc in Nursing. So great to have some of our graduates contributing to the conference as well. Our keynote speaker, Rosaline McDonough, is also a member of the Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Committee of Uterus for the University of Galway. Now, you've got a great agenda at this conference ahead of you. Topics to be addressed throughout the summer school include monitoring human rights obligations, legal capacity, access to justice, independent living, the right to health, reproductive justice, gender-based violence, solidarity between and across social movements, and participation in public and political life. And you'll be ending the week, as you always do at the conference, with the moot court exercise. And this year's moot problem centres on a disabled woman elected to a fictional parliament, facing barriers related to both her gender and her disability, and carrying out her role as an elected representative. So a really interesting topic for the moot court, which I think will be very illuminating for all the participants. So a great week ahead. I wish you a wonderful week. I'm sorry that due to my other involvement in duties, I can't join you, but I know this will be a great success, as it always is. So thank you to the organising team, and thank you to you, the participants, for making it such a good event. It's your interactions and participation that really make this summer school what it is. So thank you for joining us, both here in person and online. Have a great week. Thank you very much.
Looks like it's on. Oh, super. Okay. Okay, so, all right, hopefully that feedback noise won't happen again. Okay, so now I'm going to formally welcome you to our centre here at the University of Galway. So as you know, this summer school is organised by the Centre for Disability Law and Policy, and it's really great to see we have so many new faces joining us this year for the first time, including some people that I've been trying to get to Galway for a long time, and some regular summer school attendees who've returned year on year, which is lovely as well. As Martin mentioned, we have a number of our graduates returning and also some previous summer school attendees who are coming this year as speakers, which is great. And it proves what I always say, which is that we have the best audience for summer school. And I think you'll learn at least as much from each other this week as you will from our speakers on every panel. So before I get into the main part of my remarks this morning, I just want to acknowledge there are some really important friends, colleagues, some incredible disability activists and scholars that have passed away since our last summer school. So I think hopefully there will be a slide appearing behind me. Yes, okay, great. So I just want to acknowledge them. So beginning with Steve Este, a deaf Canadian activist who played a really critical role in the negotiation of the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. And Steve was actually working on developing a North American summer school on disability rights, which he didn't get a chance to actually fulfill before he died. But we hope that it will come to fruition, and many colleagues of his are continuing to work on that. Fiona Morrissey, a graduate of this university and an adjunct lecturer here with us at the centre. Her PhD research and continued advocacy was really instrumental in the fight to ensure that all people who have experience of mental health services should have the full right to access advanced healthcare directives. So we really acknowledge and miss Fiona. Selena Bonney, a proud Indian-Irish disabled woman and determined activist for sexual and reproductive rights of all disabled people. She was an incredible ambassador for us on our research here into reproductive justice at the university, and she worked really hard to ensure that assisted human reproduction laws would not discriminate against disabled people. And next is Robert Martin from New Zealand, who was the first and only, so far, person with an intellectual disability elected to the UN Committee on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities and a key player in the negotiation of the convention itself. His fierce advocacy for the rights of all to choose where and with whom to live will not be forgotten. So now, finally, earlier this month, we lost Bhargavi Davar, an incredible survivor of psychiatry and activist in India, who in the depths of the first wave of the COVID-19 pandemic still managed to liberate people from psychiatric institutions and find safe places for them to live in their communities. I think it's really important that we say their names and we honour them. If this is the first that you're hearing about these individuals, then please do take the time to get to know their work. And throughout this week and beyond, we aim to continue the vital work that they were so dedicated to on our journey towards disability justice. In a few moments, Amani will introduce you to the theme for this week. But before that, I just want to tell you a little bit more about our centre here and our work. And the summer school, of course, is just one part of our overall work. So you may know that our centre was founded in 2008 by my colleague Gerard Quinn, just as the convention was entering into force. And I joined a year later, and they haven't been able to get rid of me since. So our aim here is really to produce, to collaborate with, and provide space for the best thinkers on disability rights who are intent on creating social as well as legal change. And my goal for the centre is that everyone who's anyone in the world of disability rights will have studied here, will have worked here, or worked with us. And that includes all of you who are here this week. The summer school is a great chance to get to know what we do. So if you like what you see this week, and we hope you will, you should come back or find other ways to get involved in our work. We're proud to host the only Masters globally in International and Comparative Disability Law and Policy. And that's a programme that has produced some exceptional graduates, including some of our speakers at summer school that you've heard about from Martin, like Elizabeth Kamundia from Human Rights Watch and Eliona Djidac from the University of Iceland. We also have an incredible PhD programme, including my two co-directors. Most of our students have also been successful in obtaining funding for their PhDs, which is no mean feat. And several of our PhD students, as you've heard, are presenting or chairing this week. So again, if you're interested in pursuing further study in disability rights, whether that's at the master's level or the PhD level, we hope you'll do it here with us. And we have a great team, and you can talk to all of the people here who will tell you how wonderful all of the stuff they have studied here is. Apart from our education programme, we also have a pretty exciting research programme of funded research projects that we recruit staff on from time to time to work with us. And luckily, just last week, we found out that we have been successful in obtaining funding from the European Commission for a Marie Curie postdoctoral network. And we're very excited to be able to bring together experienced researchers to work at different European universities, addressing some of the most urgent challenges that are facing the disability community worldwide in that project. We're always interested in hosting visiting researchers as well, and we've had a number of Erasmus exchanges with different European universities. We're also hosting some international colleagues and international students. So there are lots of ways you can collaborate with us on research, on taught programs, or if you have an idea, if you're working for a disabled people's organisation or an activist collective and you want some research done on a topic that's really important to you, then come and talk to us. We do have a disability legal information clinic, which again is probably most useful for our Irish audience. members, where we train our students from our master's programme to give information to disabled people about their rights in the Irish context. As part of that clinic, we also have our students do research projects, and often we collaborate with disabled people's organisations on those projects. So if you have an idea for a project, you'd like to find someone to do some research onto it, I can't guarantee we'll do it, but do come and talk to us and we can discuss what's possible. So just as I wrap up now, and before I hand over to Amani, I want to share a little with you about why this week's theme makes so much sense for us as a centre. As you can probably see from our staff and our volunteers, women are in the majority here at the centre. So we think about disability and gender as intertwined in a lot of our work. And, it just so happens that most of my favourite people in the world are disabled women, so that helps. I want to conclude now by sharing the words of Mia Mingus, whose keynote at the 2018 Disability Intersectionality Summit was titled, "Disability Justice is Just Another Term for Love." She said, "I would argue that our work for liberation is simply a practice of love, one of the deepest and most profound there is. And if we can't love each other and ourselves, then what good is any of our work to get free? If we can't reach out and break isolation and the walls we've put up between each other as disabled people, then we will already have lost before we've won any political battle. What good is it if we can wage amazing campaigns if we all end up hating each other in the end? If we can't practice addressing the hard things between each other, then how will we ever have a fighting chance to address the hard things in this world that keep our peoples locked up and locked out? We have to work to transform the world, but we can only do that effectively if we can work to transform ourselves and our relationships with each other at the same time." So with that quote, I invite you to begin the journey of transformation and forge new relationships with each other as we continue to debate, discuss, and explore ideas together throughout the rest of summer school. Thank you.